The intros are the hardest part. Welcome to episode 4 of Bad Axe Asks, the podcast about finding creative solutions to the 9 to 5 and building a more positive future. How's that for a professional intro? See, I'm learning. If you like this content, make sure you like it and subscribe to this channel for updates, notifications when I post new content, and there's some really fun stuff coming your way next week, so be sure to do that. So, today, for episode 4, I'm going to be joined with the ladies of MK Redesign. They are a company out of Crosse, Wisconsin. 2 friends started, and their whole business is built around making home a more happy place. So we're going to talk about what that means for their business, as well as what that means right now in this really unique situation we're in where everybody's at home. So let's go give the ladies a call. Well, I am here with Molly and Kirsten of MK Redesign, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves and their business. So take it away, ladies.
Do you want to go first, Kirsten?
Sure. I'm Kirsten, and
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's one of those names that could be Kirsten, or Kirsten, so I take no offense, seriously.
I should have checked first. That's bad. Because I have a name like that. I have Carolyn, and apparently everybody thinks it's Caroline.
Oh, well, I can see that.
I feel that, and I'm so sorry. I'm just guilty of it.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. No, okay. So we're MK Redesign. We're a local interior decorating and styling company in the La Crosse area. So we do in-home visits for local people in the La Crosse area, but we also do virtual visits for people living really anywhere, wherever they have internet.
Cool.
That could be like doing room refreshes, simple things like bedrooms or bathrooms, all the way to like a whole home.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
A whole home would be a huge project, I feel like. That'd be really fun to be part of.
Yeah, it'd be really rewarding, or really rewarding to see the whole process. But
yeah. And Molly?
Yeah, so my name's Molly. I moved to La Crosse 5 years ago with my husband, and we have twin boys who are 8. Busy.
Yeah.
But Kirsten, I met her several years ago and had her son in a Bible study class that I was a teacher for, and so we kind of got to know each other a little bit through that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just a little over, I guess a year and a half ago about, we got together, we became friends, and we met over lunch, and she said, I think we should do this together because we both have been doing decorating for friends and family for a while. It's just passion for both of us. And she's like, what would you think about doing this together as a team? And so I said, let's go for it. And that's how we kind of started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like the business stories where it kind of starts out like, let's just do it.
Like, why not?
Dive right in. Yeah. So you guys you said about a year and a half into your business. What have you been enjoying about it? What's been really fun?
I think for me, it's just a chance to be creative. I never really considered myself a creative person because I never did well with drawing or art, painting, nothing like that in school. But I have found that I am creative when it comes to decorating and home design. And so I really just discovered a whole new side of myself, that I am a creative person, and it just allows me to express that outside of being a mom. And I don't know, it's just ignited a whole new passion in me.
And that's something that in some of the past episodes of this podcast, we've talked a lot about defining yourself as a creative person or an artist and what that means and what kind of like societal expectations and the creativity inside of everybody. And I saw your stories from today. I was like, this is so perfect. This is something I like to explore a lot, because a lot of people feel, oh, I'm not creative if I'm not painting, or, if I can't paint, I'm not an artist. And that's totally false.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll add, Molly and I both have young kids, and so it's nice to be able to get out of the house and use my brain in a different way. Like, I love my kids and I love being with them and caring for them, but I also like the mental challenge of designing a room, figuring out different layouts, meeting with other adults and like having conversations and just the whole design process for me, I think, is really fun. From seeing it from start to finish is really rewarding. And it's just really fun to see the client be like, wow, this space, like I love it so much. And it's so much more peaceful. It's so much more relaxing. I love this color so much more. I love the decor so much more. Like, and so seeing that we can make a difference in people's lives, even through interior design, is pretty rewarding.
Yeah, that's super relative to my life too. I have 2 young kids also, so that's like, I feel that the desire to like chat with other adults about colors and aesthetic decisions and things like that, beyond like, can I have a snack?
Yep.
So I have written up 3 questions that I sent over to you guys that I'd love to dive in and kind of explore. And if you have more you'd like to add about your business too, you can throw that in with these. So right now we're in a really unique time where people are spending so much time in their homes, possibly more than they ever have. So for you guys, you're in the business of interior design. Have you seen from some of your clients or just in general in the industry how the quarantine has reshaped how people think about spaces in their homes?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have, like you said, just more time to think about their spaces and what might be working well for their home and what might not be working so great. And getting their wheels turning about like, okay, this space has been bugging me for 5 years. Where do I start here to try to fix this problem? So we've had people reaching out to us like, I'm finally ready to tackle this room, because they just have reached that point where they're sick of staring at the problem and they're ready to take action. So I think, just like, or they're spending more time as a family and they're having game night in the living room, but they're realizing like, wow, we really don't have comfortable seating in this room.
Yeah.
Like, why have we waited so long to change out the furniture when we, because people are congregating more at home. And so I think that's just a natural outcome as they're sitting around on their furniture and realizing what feels good and what doesn't feel good.
Or what they don't like. Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that can even go for like some of the decor pieces of if you have smaller kids or more active kids, even just being like, okay, this really isn't practical to have out all the time, but maybe just on special occasions I can put this centerpiece on this table, but for now it's just going to be used for homework or...
Yeah, my Onyx egg collection doesn't belong in this space anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And so you kind of let some things go, or you even start to let yourself dream a little bit of like, okay, we're kind of getting down to a blank slate because we're getting all of these decor items off of this furniture. What could it be instead?
Yeah. I mean, I've even kind of seen, I'm a notorious, like, we've moved a lot. So I always joke that as soon as we hang paintings up, we move again. So now, I mean, even though we're kind of transitioning out of the house we live in right now, I'm still just kind of like, oh, but what if we did this in this room?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense, but I'm just sitting faced with it a lot. So I'm like, oh, it might be kind of cool to try this.
Right.
So in that, you talked about kind of having spaces that aren't working for you, like the furniture is not comfortable, or this doesn't work for game nights, or my kids can't do homework here, or we're not even using our living room, we're all in the kitchen all the time. So once you realize something like that, what is the first step that you guys use for crafting a welcoming space, regardless of the room, the style, the budget, any of that? How do you start?
So the first thing we do is we start with a plan. There is, when you go shopping, usually something will stand out to you and be like, oh, I really love that piece. I just want it now. And you grab it and you bring it home, but then you're like, okay, where do I put it? And then you have like these Mod Podge of all these different items that you loved at the minute you saw it, but then it's like, these don't go together, or I can't get them to look right. And so when you think about the big picture of like your style and what you want your home to feel and look like, that's like the main place you want to start. And so for Molly and I, that is helping our client figure out what their style is and what that will look like for them in their home. And then from there, it's drawing up a plan, like if they're wanting to redo their kitchen, what other areas can you see from your kitchen? Is that going to affect that? Is the flow going to go well from one space to a next? Or if they just want to start in a smaller room, like an entryway, figuring out this is the first place people see, what do you want them to feel or see when they come in? And then how can that spill over into other areas?
Yeah, kind of like set the stage for the whole home. Cool.
Yes. Kind of taking a step back, big picture look.
A lot of our clients, just they cannot put into words what they like, but we're able to ask a series of questions to kind of nail down like what they do and don't like, and then we try to put it all together so they can see what this couch looks like with this rug and this floor lamp and this piece of art, and then they're able to say like, oh, I love that, or I love that couch, but can you try a different rug there? So I think more people are visual than we think, and it just really helps having seen an overall plan for the space rather than just piecemealing things together at random and hoping for the best, which we've all done.
Yeah,
I've done it before too. So
Absolutely.
don't come to my house.
Yeah. So we all do it. It's just, it ends up saving people time and money if they can have a plan from the get-go. In our experience, it's just really helped clients save money, time, and stress.
And that's interesting too, because that totally translates to my work, like for design and marketing and logos or websites or any of that stuff. A lot of times people have a really pretty clear idea of what they don't like after you show them. They're like, I hate that, or they have like, okay, that's not what I wanted, but they have a hard time verbalizing what they do want. So that's really interesting. I'll use a questionnaire too, especially for websites, because it's a bigger project. And it's kind of like building a house, but on the internet. Yeah. So that's interesting too. And that's definitely a struggle. Have you found that a lot of people, once you start talking, kind of start opening up and are able, as you go along, to like kind of explain a little bit more, that they're like, I want it to feel like my grandma's house, or, kind of like this kind of vibe.
Yeah, and it, like Molly said, sometimes they'll see it and they just don't like it. And we tell our clients to be brutally honest with us. Like, you will not hurt our feelings. We are trying to get you the home you want. We are not living there. You are. And so it's like, please tell us and be honest with us. If you do not like this style, like, we'll change it. Like, that is completely fine. So yeah, it's figuring out, like you said, some will see it and they'll be like, well, I don't like it, but I'm not really sure. We can always give different options, and then they can choose from the options later.
Yeah, and that's smart too. And do you have that issue where people will just kind of be like, it's nice, and not tell you that they dislike it? Is that something that you're faced with?
Sometimes, yeah. We've had to prod with certain people. We've had to prod a little bit more, like, tell us, if they're kind of like on the fence, be like, okay, is it the shape you don't like, or is it the material you don't like? And then they're able to say, actually, I hate the shape, but I'm fine with the neutral material. So that helps us.
Yeah, kind of giving people two choices.
Right.
Yeah, there's been all these studies about the human brain and like what happens inside our heads when we're faced with more than like just two or three options, like how haywire we go, like, okay, why do you hate it? Well, there's a million reasons, but I can't tell you any of them because my brain can't wrap itself around the idea. So it's interesting too. It's a good tip. I might need to write that down for like the shape. Do you just like the color? I do sometimes find that issue in my work of having people be afraid to be really honest, especially if it's like a business that I'm working with that's a team or a group of people. People will be really tenuous about giving feedback like to their peers, but one-on-one they're much more vocal about like, okay, well, I really don't think that color looks good, or something like that. So do you work with a lot of like families for houses and things like that?
Yeah, we will work with like husband or families or spouses or different kids might have an opinion or something like that. So a lot of the times we'll send the designs, explain the designs, we'll give them time to think about it, and then we'll come back and discuss. So that gives them time to talk through things, and they're not having to decide things right on the spot after seeing it for the first time.
Right. And that's hard too. Absolutely. Okay, here's your artwork. You have to make a decision right now. I'm waiting. I'm gonna sit here and stare at
We all need time.
Yeah, totally. And especially when it's a big decision, like a part of your home, like, that would definitely I'm usually kind of a snap decision maker. That would definitely make me be like, can I have a month?
Need to pause on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys are typically working, do you have space in your own homes that you do some of your design work? Do you have a studio office or anything like that, or is it mostly out of your own homes?
Yeah, so we work out of our homes. Before, the pandemic hit, Kirsten and I did meet together during the week. We would rotate between our homes, but we've become pretty adept at using technology to FaceTime, and we still are able to get what we need to get done. Thank goodness for technology. But for right now, we do all of our work from our home or coffee shops.
Yeah, and that's the boat that I'm in, that work from home life. So when pandemic started shutting stuff down, I was like, literally no change. I just don't get to go out for coffee with my clients. I have to have a Zoom coffee meeting. So with that though, like, that's not the case for almost everybody. A lot of people are working from home for the first time. So with that in mind, what are some tips that you would give people to arrange a home but maximize function, or like allow for some of these fluctuating situations, even if you don't have a big footprint for your home? So especially for a smaller home, how would you maximize functionality? What are some secret designer tips?
Yeah, so I think a big one for me is, we've already talked about having a plan, but oftentimes that plan, when I first moved into my house, for example, I wanted it all to be perfect right away, and I wanted to furnish it and have it all designed perfectly. But the more I lived in my house, I realized I knew better how we were using the spaces.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are realizing that now when they've been home so much, like, wow, we don't use, like you said, we don't really use this living room, but we're in the kitchen all the time. So maybe we need to look at that and see what's working and what's not working in the kitchen, or things like that, like living in it for a while to give yourself a chance to see what your priorities are, and then coming up with a plan. So maybe you have a really small entry, but there are still a lot of things that can be done to, smart storage solutions, hooks, mirrors. There's mirrors and tricks we can use to make things look bigger. And that's one way we kind of help our clients too, is we see things from a different perspective, so we can give them a whole new, maybe they never thought about putting a mirror on this wall, but once they do, it really opens up the space and designates this as an entryway.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense. But that's one way I think we kind of start off with. And Kirsten, you can add to that.
Yeah, and even while people are home, and if they're getting sick of looking at a certain room, just like take all the furniture out of the room and then rearrange it, or even just push everything to the middle and put things on different walls and just kind of like move stuff around. I've seriously rearranged the room I'm sitting in 4 times during this quarantine because I've been like so stir crazy of just like, I need to move things. I need things to look different. I don't want to look at this way anymore as I'm coming into this room. And this is like guest room / office that I'm in. And so we have a trundle bed, but right now where it is set, I knew we weren't going to be having guests for a while. So I was like, it doesn't matter if the trundle bed can come out or not. So at one point, this desk that I'm sitting at was the end table for the bed, so it's just, you just kind of move things around and get creative in your own way. And if you hate it, put it back to how you had it.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost any money to rearrange furniture.
Don't hurt. But just sweat equity, right?
Yeah.
Trundle bed, that's got to be kind of heavy.
We have like little sliders on the bottom, so it's not
nice.
too bad. Yeah.
When I was in probably through like upper elementary, still to now, like secretly, but like I say that I don't actually want one, but I totally do. I always wanted a Murphy bed
Oh yeah.
that folds down from the wall, which they're very expensive, I discovered, which was cost prohibitive for a while. And then I decided that I was just going to build my own. And the hardware for it is very expensive. So I'm like, well, no Murphy bed yet, but it's a dream.
Yeah. Go for it. That'll be fun.
I think it would be neat too. What movie was it? There's some movie where somebody gets folded up in the Murphy bed and they're like hiding. It's like a goofy comment. I don't even remember what movie. I don't know. But that's definitely a feature, like the cool beds, trundle beds. That was my, like, when my parents were like, I don't think you can have a Murphy bed. Like, I don't think that's going to work for you. I was like, what about a trundle bed, though? Like, I'm going to take a step down here.
Oh, love it.
Cubbies, stuff like that. So you guys work from home. What are your tips for, like, having your home office set up, your own flow, your own style without going, like, just hiding in the bathroom on your laptop, which happens?
It's tricky. I mean, for me, it's taken me a while to figure out what works best. Kirsten and I we are very similar in a lot of ways, but we're also very opposite in some ways. So like I function way better in the morning. So I'm trying to get more things done in the morning time because that's when I'm at my best. And then having designated time where I just work on work stuff and not try to multitask, schooling kids, cleaning, and trying to get my social media stuff done for the week. So I think it's having a plan for the week and having designated time for me in the times best.
Yeah, that's
so
more important than any room, probably, the time management skills. What about you, Kirsten?
I would have to go along the same lines as Molly. So my husband is now working from home because of the pandemic, and then my kids who normally are in public school are home. So we have this one office/guest room, and then we have our dining room table, and that's where most of the work gets done. So I have, like, if we have like Zoom calls or like regular things, then that person gets this room. But if it's like general work, you're at the dining room table, and that's just kind of how it is. So it's getting used to having distractions, and then it's getting used to being like, okay, kids, you can watch a movie every afternoon while mom does her work, because otherwise it's like I get nothing done.
Yeah, I feel that. I actually texted my dad. My parents live about 3 hours south. They live down in Illinois. I texted him week 2 of the quarantine. I'm like, can you please send me the Wii that's at your house? Our kids are 5 and 3, so like they can't really handle like an Xbox, and they've watched almost everything on Netflix. So like there's only so many cartoons I can handle. So they've gotten really proficient at Mario Kart, which you do what you can.
Yeah.
That affords me a little bit of time to work. And then I also get to play Mario Kart, which is
there you go.
Benefit. Yeah.
You have to be flexible. I mean, our schedule got changed. I mean, like everybody else's, it totally changed within the matter of days.
Yeah.
And you just have to adapt. And thankfully, we still can do quite a bit. Even from separate homes, we've been able to help clients through e-design and stuff, and that's been awesome. We can still do that.
So talk about your e-design a little bit, because me being like an internet and computer geek, I think your e-design services are really neat. And even before the pandemic and stuff, I see a lot of some of those virtual services being really, really crucial for a ton of different industries. So tell about that. I think it's so cool.
Cool. So e-design is for, like I said earlier, anyone who has internet access. Basically what we do is we set up a virtual meeting, so via Zoom, FaceTime, whatever works best. And then we do e-design packages per room. So that's a little different than our in-home services. we just designate it room by room, and there's a flat fee for each room. And then from there, we have them fill out the questionnaire again for us to learn all about their design, all about their style, what their wants and needs are. And then from there, we kind of go to work. So Molly and I will put our brains together and create these digital inspiration boards.
Nice.
And then the clients get one revision in the e-design. They're always available to pay for more revisions if they want, but one is included, so then they can tell us what they like and don't like, and then we make those changes, and they get the final links to purchase the items whenever they want.
Nice.
Yep.
So then you're giving them like a map, essentially, of how to achieve that aesthetic, and then the rest is up to them to do as their budget or time allows.
Correct. Yep.
Right. And that's also the beauty of working with us at either eDesign or locally, because there's not a lot of people who can afford to totally redo a space all at once. Oftentimes, especially as they're investing in bigger furniture pieces, it takes a little time to do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of clients like having the map, and then they'll decide like, okay, I'm going to prioritize the rug and the couch because I really need a new couch. And then as time and budget allows, they will add in the finishing touches. But they have that plan in place, so they're not going to bunch of TJ Maxx and Target and just picking random stuff off the shelf to try to fill the void and wasting their time and money on that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And probably something I should do besides just having like a little strip of paper that says your aesthetic is grungy flea market. My purse, like my little aesthetic affirmation. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at. My husband and I, we both love antiques and old furniture and cool old woodworking stuff. So we love all of that. And that's definitely a problem because Craigslist is like full of that stuff for very affordable prices. And like both our families are farming families, so they have, like the big farmhouse that's just like stuffed with that stuff already. So I probably should maybe enlist you guys to make me.
What you need, what you don't need. Yeah.
Right. Definitely. So you guys have mentioned, doing some shopping at some big box stores. Talk to me, because I know I saw your stories a few days ago where you were doing like marketplace finds, Facebook Marketplace. Tell me about that. I am a huge proponent of shopping secondhand. So tell me about what it's like to envision a space where the customer's maybe planning to do a lot of secondhand shopping or wants that true vintage look. What's that like?
I can speak to that quick. Yeah, some clients have furniture that they want to repurpose already. I just had a client recently that didn't want to get rid of their dresser and armoire, but we suggested painting it. It was a piece that needed to be redone, and paint would work well on it. Oftentimes we're big proponents of saving the wood because we love old wood, but this was, not antique. Anyway, so we incorporated that into the design. But Kirsten and I both thrift quite often, and we do videos a lot on how to incorporate vintage or antique pieces into your decor. And so sometimes we'll give tips on how to do that. And then, we do post Facebook Market finds, because oftentimes there's some really good quality pieces on there that are really reasonable that you can still make look fresh and new just by the surrounding decor or furniture. So that's something we like to do a lot. And I don't know, Kirsten, you can share more.
Yeah, and I think if like someone is, for a client per se, we would give them an idea of what would look like. So if you're out thrifting, look for a coffee table that has this similar style. And they might not find the exact same wood grain or maybe even the same legs, but it's the same style and size approximately. And that could just do the fit. So it is nice when you're thrifting to have something in mind also, because then it's also something to be really overwhelmed when you walk into a thrift store and there's stuff everywhere. But if you kind of have an idea of like, okay, I want this particular thing with this look, that makes it a lot easier to dig through.
Yeah, definitely. Totally guilty of just going in and blindly filling up my cart with lots of brass sculptures. There's so many of them. I don't, like, just recently I found so many, and that's I've seen in like Better Homes and Gardens, like all these brass, like, oh, how to do it on the mantle and like all this stuff. I'm like, they're everywhere suddenly. Yeah. Who knows? Trends are weird. Well, thank you guys. Is there anything else you'd like to add? To everybody watching, you should definitely follow them on Instagram, and you guys also have a Facebook page. Yeah, right? Yes.
Yep, and Pinterest.
Awesome inspiration. If you're looking to have kind of some expert opinions on your spaces, they're available right now via FaceTime and Zoom. Give them a call for all those cool virtual services that they were chatting about. And I'll have links down below for all their different spaces that you can find them online. Their stories are very inspiring on Instagram. That's where I do a lot of interacting with their brand. Lots of really good ideas on how to make your home a really welcoming and functional space for your lifestyle, which is, I think, very timely info.
Definitely. Thank you very much. It's been fun to be here.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. I'm glad that we finally made this happen.